Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here, and you guys may or may not notice that I have a special guest with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all to Alan Paoletti, the author of, or not author, but like the host, I guess you could say, of The Magic Minute. That is his YouTube channel where he has all kinds of fun stuff like magic tutorials, advice for magicians videos. He does reactions and all kinds of really cool stuff. So I wanted to introduce you guys. He actually had me for an interview over at his channel not too long ago. So if you guys haven't already seen that, I recommend you check that one out. Link in the description below for that interview. You go check it out. But otherwise, I wanted to introduce you all to Alan. So Alan, thank you so much for being on, man.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. How's it going?
It's good. It's good over here. So why don't you tell us all a little bit about yourself, maybe what it is that you do magic-wise, and then maybe a little bit about your channel, how you got it started, some of your favorite stuff about your channel, all that good stuff.
Okay, so who am I? Well, I'm a professional magician. I live in the Dallas area, Dallas, Texas, not Dallas, Georgia, or Dallas anywhere else. There's like a Dallas in every city or every state. Dallas, Texas, and I've been performing for about 12 years professionally. Started that whenever I lost my last real job, and I was like, you know what? I always had a dream of being a magician. Maybe I could do that now. I don't have the fear of losing a regular paycheck because I don't have a regular paycheck. So let's try to make it work, and then I did, and then it was beautiful. The YouTube channel I've had for a long time. If people go back and look at the history of the channel, I've had it up since like 2006, I think. And I was really active. I was a partner. I was getting checks from YouTube, doing deck reviews a long time ago. And then I lost the passion for doing deck reviews because you can only open so many decks of cards, and before they all just look like pieces of paper. And it's like, oh, this one's printed differently. That's cool. I get and then I just got burnt out on doing that. So I left, and then made friends with Brian Brushwood about the same time that I was thinking about coming back. He's like, you should do it. In fact, let me help you jumpstart your channel back up. Come down, we'll shoot some videos. I'll send everybody over to your channel. Cool. So I started that back about 2 years ago now. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the history of me.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So right now, like I really encourage my viewers to go check out your stuff. You have like a lot of really cool videos. Some of my favorite ones though are the ones where you break videos down. Like you did a sort of breakdown / reaction video to watching, I forget who it was on Joe Rogan podcast.
A Banachek, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Banachek. There you go. Yeah, you did that one. You have a lot of these like sort of honest trailer reaction style videos. Why don't you talk about those a little bit? Those are my favorite ones.
Oh, thank you. They were very controversial when I first started doing them, especially the product review things or the product reactions, because people didn't get that I was doing a reaction to the trailer. They thought I was doing a review on a product or recommending a product or not recommending a product based solely on the trailer without owning the product, which is not at all what I'm doing. I'm taking more of like the tech YouTuber approach, which is like, hey, Blizzard just had an announcement about this new game. It looks cool, but here's some questions that I have about it, right? We'll have to see when it comes out. And that's kind of the approach I take to that, because I have such an experience with buying Magic and being in Magic for so long. I can watch a trailer and go, is it really look the way that they're trying to purport it looks? Or what questions do I have about how it actually works? Or here's a practical real world thing that it may not work the way you think it's going to, or whatever. So I just try to look at it with a critical eye as like if I was buying it, and then share that with my audience, and then let them make their own decisions. So that's the reactions.
No, and that's the thing that I like about it, because oftentimes I think a lot of us are sort of almost programmed, like when we're watching these trailers, like you'll see a trailer where it's like, the camera pans into the sunset, and then there's the guy just like staring off into the sunset,
I'm Daniel Madison, and this is boils on my ass. I mean,
it's like, well, it's like a 45-second trailer, and there's like 3 seconds. It's like a color change or something, you know, and it's
a music video. It's a music video.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah, that's exactly it. And there is, I don't know if I want to talk too specifically about any particular one, but there was a trick that just came out not too long ago where a lot of people were really upset about the actual trailer that came out because of how misleading it was and stuff. And I think it's good to kind of have that, to be able to look at it, to take those rose tinted lenses out, you know, and sift through the cinematography and how, you know, how awesome visually the trailer looks, and because ultimately what you're doing is you're buying a magic trick, you're buying a product, a prop, a download, whatever it is, and you want to know, is the trick that I'm getting is it gonna be helpful? Am I gonna be able to perform it, or my audience, what is it that I'm getting? And sometimes it gets a little lost when you're watching these like super over the top trailers.
Well, and I mean, I think that's to the testament of what magic companies are really good at. They're good at selling the dream, right? Because I mean, let's be honest, right? How often do professional magicians buy new stuff? Not very much, because we find the stuff that works, and then we do it, and then usually we have new audiences all the time, so we don't have to really worry about refreshing our magic that often. So a lot of the stuff is being sold to the hobbyist community, right? So that doesn't mean that the effects aren't great or pro-grade effects, because I use a lot of stuff that you can find at Illusionist or Theory 11 or places like that. But they need people to consume these things. So they sell the dream of what it would be like to be a professional magician without realizing that it's mostly sizzle and not steak. You know, it's like, I can't tell you, like, I guarantee you, I bet you $100 next week one of these big companies will release another torn and restored card. Like, I've seen like 1,000 of them just this past year. Like, come on.
Yep.
So
and it'll be like 30 seconds of you know, build up,
and
you know,
somebody like scratching their beard with sunglasses on, and like, it's like, come on, that's not what professional magicians do. Like,
I really liked Flight. Like, I bought it, and
you were the lucky ones that got it.
But the trailer for Flight, like the first it's literally a 5-minute trailer, and like the first minute and a half is homie waking up out of bed, hitting his alarm clock, brushing his teeth,
like, what does this have to do?
Grabbing his keys to go outside, walking down the street. Like, I was waiting for like someone to run by, like walking their dog or something in like a trainer, like a tracksuit, and have them like wave to the person like running their dog by or something, like you know. And then finally, like 3 minutes in, you get to the essentially it's ring play. Yeah. And so like the trick, the product itself ended up being really good in that instance. But, you know, how many times have you watched those kinds of things and you're just like, you know, and then the opposite.
It's not real life. It's not real life. It's a dream that they're selling. It's just like Instagram. It's like, nobody really lives like they show on Instagram. That's not reality. That's like, magicians of all people should know that. Like, this is an illusion. You know, don't buy into it. Like, you know, if the product looks good and it fills a need in your show, buy it.
Yep.
But if it doesn't, you don't need to buy all these things. Like, get good at the stuff you already own. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, I'm sure. But you probably already own enough magic, right? Get good at the stuff you already know, and then if you find a need somewhere, then buy something. Anyway.
Oh no, I have a magic junk drawer. I have a magic drawer with
we all do.
That I've never even used. They're never, like, I opened it, I popped in a DVD. For those of you Zoomers out there, that's like a download, except it's on a little like disc thing.
What's that?
Yeah, and you learn the trick, and you're just like, you know. So what would be, we'll wrap up this segment here. What would be your advice to someone that is looking to buy new magic and have something that they want to add to their act?
First, make sure you own Tarbell, because it's probably already in there. because everything's in Tarbell. I believe that Tarbell is actually like in 1984, whenever they would like rewrite history and put new stuff in and just pretend like it was always there. That's Tarbell, right? Like it's got everything in it. So check Tarbell first and make sure it's not already there or some version of it. And I don't know. The way I always make a purchase about Magic or anything else is I go, how much of my life do I have to trade for this, right? If it takes me 8 hours to make $60, and that's how much this new video or DVD costs or something, is it worth 8 hours of my life? Now, when you're young, you might go, yeah, sure, well, whatever, time's cheap. I got a lot of it, right? When you get a little bit older, you go, oh, 8 hours is, I will never get those 8 hours back. So think about it in terms of how you're trading your life for this thing. And that way you'll spend less money on junk and you'll make sure that it's something that you really want. So that would be, that not just with Magic, but with everything. That's just a life lesson there.
Oh, definitely. If I had a nickel for, I did the Blackpool convention with Matthew Garrett a couple years back, and if I had a nickel for every time someone bought the complete Ninja Plus set, which is like, I think we were retailing it for like 350 pounds.
Sounds about right.
Like about $500 ish, give or take. And people would just be like, well, hopefully this doesn't sit in my junk drawer and rot. It's like, why are you buying it? Are you going to perform this? Does this have a place in your act? Are you looking for a linking ring routine? Are you looking for a classic with a modern twist on it? Or did you just happen to see the trick and now you're just like throwing your money at it? Because that's what, like you said, that's what those trailers are designed to do. They're designed to make you, just want to click that add to cart button without really thinking like, is this something I'm actually going to use?
Yeah, and that's, my friend Bizarro talks about this. He was a Dallasite, moved out to Vegas and has enjoyed a lot of success out there. Great performer. If you don't know about Bizarro, go check him out. But he has the thing, his big lecture is around the idea of having your reality bubble. What is your character and what are things that your character would perform? And it's about the perception that the audience has of you as a performer. What kinds of things make sense for you, right? Like Piff the Magic Dragon, it's probably going to be some kind of prop comedy, right? But that makes sense for him. But he probably wouldn't, do Chris Angel swallowing a coin and cutting it out of his forearm because it doesn't work for his performance style, right? Or how the audience perceives him. So you may love the trick, you may want to do the trick, but you have to know what's actually going to work for your character, what's going to work for how the audience perceives you, the market in which you're performing, if you're performing professionally. I couldn't do that trick at a corporate event, right? So, you have to know these kinds of things, and then you can kind of narrow down what you actually need. So look at your show, see where the pieces are missing, and go, yeah, okay, I do need something that fits there, and maybe it'll be a good transition from this effect to that effect or something. But really think about it not reactively, but proactively whenever you're searching for things, and then find the things you're searching for. Don't just see a trailer and buy it because it looks neat.
Definitely. So. Speaking of shows, so a lot of us, unfortunately, for those of us who are working magicians, not really working magicians anymore, at least not right now because of COVID. I know myself personally, I lost a lot of gigs. I've probably performed 3 actual shows since the March shutdown happened. So a lot of magicians are trying to find ways to cope. Some of them went the Zoom route where they're booking live entertainment virtually. Other magicians doing a lot of social media magic. Like I know a lot of my close magician friends switched gears and they started doing a lot of TikTok stuff and Instagram and YouTube videos and things like that. What are your thoughts on, maybe putting together some kind of act that is virtual based? What would you do if that was? I don't know if that's something that you are focusing on. Obviously, you're running your YouTube channel, but if you're doing a lot of these Zoom shows, or if you're doing a lot of social media magic, TikTok, Instagram, any of that stuff.
Well, sure. I mean, thank you for the question. I actually have quite a bit of thoughts on this. So I'm in a unique position that I'm a YouTuber magician. I was a YouTuber magician well before the pandemic. I already had all of the I had a studio already. I already had camera, I had sound, I had lighting, I had everything that I needed already. So when the pandemic hit, the idea of switching to virtual shows was pretty easy, right? At first, initially I resisted it. I thought, well, this is only going to last a little while. I'm not going to invest in, because people don't realize you can't just do magic like you would in real life for a camera. It doesn't work. Something as simple as a camera, like switching from one camera to another at the wrong time, could look suspicious and completely undermine the entire effect. So you actually have to learn how to perform magic as if you were performing it on television, not as if you were performing it for a live audience that's a camera, right? So it's it's very different, because you notice, and if you guys go back and watch this whole thing, I'm looking, see, my good friend Michael O'Brien is right here on my screen, and I'm not looking at, I'm looking at the camera lens, right?
Yep.
Because I'm pretending it's his eyeballs, and I'm looking at that. But these are things you have to train yourself to do. Luckily, I had already had all the experience and resources and everything to be able to transition to doing that much more easily than a lot of other people. I didn't have to invest in all these things that, and then learn how to use them. So yeah, I do Zoom shows. I've done maybe 6 or 7 in the past year. But they're big ones. They were like for conferences and for big holiday parties and stuff. So they were substantial and they were nice, but they are far and few between, because you have to find somebody. You're marketing a unique product that most people have never heard of, and so not only do you have to like market the product, but you also have to like market a new concept to a lot of people, right? It's like the idea of like doing weddings in the United States. For our friends overseas, doing weddings as a magician is very commonplace in the UK, not so much in the United States, right? There are some people who are like, yes, I've seen that, or, oh, yeah, I know I want a magician for that, or, hey, I understand the value of having a magician at a wedding or whatever. But it's a real concept sell to most people. And so it's easier then to be on the reactionary end, right? Or what's called attraction marketing, where you're not going out and cold calling just a bunch of random people saying, hey, I have this show, do you want it? You have to be in a place where you're marketing yourself so that the people who are looking for your solution can find you. And that's the big difference there. So yeah, I've tried to market myself as much as I can in that area. I've, have some friends in networking, and that's kind of where I'm going with all of that. I have not spent money to market on it yet, because frankly, not working, a marketing budget isn't really, I don't have it, right? Like I normally would. So, everything's got a shoestring right now. So I'm just relying on my old network, right? And it's provided something, but I think that it's a lot more work and a lot more, it's a lot different than you think. And so what I would really recommend, if you're going to try to do Zoom shows and you've never done magic in front of a camera or in front of a virtual audience before, call your friends, call your family, do it like you would like any other show that you were putting on in real life, and just ask them to watch it and give you feedback. And you're going to realize, oh, you know what? I realize that I'm having to get up here and adjust the camera, or I have to stand up and do this, and this is awkward. That angle's terrible, or I really need a second camera to be down on my hands showing that part, but I can't cut here, because if I cut here, like for Invisible Deck, you want that deck of cards to be on frame all the time, because right, you just switch. How do you know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
all those kinds of things. So run through it. Practice it and test it just like you would any other show with your friends and family. Get the feedback you need, and then be good at using the software. Oh my gosh, make sure you know how to use everything, because if you have a problem mid-show, you're if you don't know how to fix it quickly, you're in trouble, right?
Yep.
So that there you go. I hope that helps. I have a lot to talk about.
No, definitely. Real quick before we move on from that.
Yes.
Do you have any advice on where people can maybe go? I don't know if maybe you've done it, videos or discussed this on your own channel, where people that are interested in getting into Zoom Magic can maybe learn more about it so that they can study up and all that stuff. Yeah,
actually, I think the best resource is Paul Draper. He has an excellent program out on doing virtual shows. He's taken every single consideration that there is, and has broken it down and made it very friendly and easy to digest, especially for somebody who's never done this kind of stuff before. Yeah, Paul Draper is who I'd recommend.
Very cool. Love Paul. Super nice guy too.
Oh, beautiful man.
He used to come in when I was working at the magic shop at Disneyland. He used to come in all the time and just like say hi, and then he would like literally come to the magic shop to say hi, and then he would go out to downtown Disney to do his shows because they would hire him for like the little stage in the shopping district there to do magic. So switching gears just a little bit, we already kind of discussed a little bit about learning new magic and whether or not it's a good piece of magic to add to your act or not. There is sort of this, I guess you can call it a debate, or people disagree, whether or not we should be learning magic the classic way, which is picking up a book, reading through the book, learning the magic trick that way, or if it's more beneficial to learn by watching like video media of some kind, DVDs, downloads, VHS tapes, whatever you got, and watching the trick be performed for you. Some people are more visual learners. I've heard the argument on the book side where they say, you know, well, if you read the book, they don't spoon feed the performance to you. They just kind of show you, like, especially for some of these older books, they just kind of show you the method and they show you the trick from start to finish. And it kind of forces you to be creative. Where if you have two different people learning the same exact trick and then you ask them to perform it, those two performances are going to be vastly different because they weren't necessarily spoon-fed the material. Right. So I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on learning magic digitally versus, you know, like reading a book?
Well, actually, thank you for asking, because I have some thoughts on that. And it's actually kind of what fuels my YouTube channel, believe it or not. So that's all kind of all wrapped into the same thing.
Well, you've already talked about Tarbell. You're like, hey, get Tarbell. If you don't have it, you're missing out.
And by the way, it's not full Tarbell, but there is actually a public domain version of Tarbell that's in PDF form that you can find on the internet. And it's public domain. You are allowed to freely download it. It is a public resource. It's whenever the book was being published, actually just a chapter at a time. And Tarbell was writing it that way, and then later it was compiled, and there was extra stuff added and taken away and all that stuff. So Tarbell in print form is not in public domain, but there's a PDF version, which is the older, not as robust version, which is out there and is free and is completely within your right to pick up. So you should. So here's what I do with my YouTube channel. This is the kind of the why I do the channel the way I do. Those who are longtime watchers of my channel will know that I don't reveal magic. I don't go, here's how David Blaine did this, or here's how such and such works, or here's this new latest trick, verbatim by Theory 11. Here's how you do that. I don't reveal magic. What I do is I take old material, public domain magic, and I give it the visual element. I always still recommend you buy the book, and I have links in a lot of my videos that I have the tutorial. I say, hey, here's where the original routine came from. I may have updated it. I may have a facelift to make it more modern, taken the, who was his name? Oh, Dan Harlan approach to whatever, right? And trying to revamp it or whatever. But here's where that originally came from. Go get the book. But if you need that visual stuff, because it can be beneficial to watch it, I just reviewed a video from Danny Goldsmith, and trying to learn that in pictures would have been very difficult. So having the video is great; it's a wonderful medium. But me bringing the channel over, so that way you can kind of get a sense that there is good magic in these old books and see it visually represented, I think is kind of a good marriage. That's kind of the focus of my channel. I think that really books, I think you hit the nail on the head with the spoon feeding the material. So many magicians, especially younger magicians or hobbyist magicians, who don't do this professionally and don't have any competition financially, they'll just do the act the exact same way that Daniel Madison or Paul Draper, whoever taught them the video, whatever, they'll recite it line for line. I've heard 14-year-olds telling me stories about their, cigarette through coin, like they were at a bar and they did, like, I'm like, what are you talking? You're 14. Where did you, like, come on, like, make it make sense for you. What's believable? Again, it's about your character, right? So I think that books do force you again, yes, to filter it through your own personality, your own character, and everybody's going to have a different reaction to that, right? Just like whenever you listen to song lyrics, people might get different feelings or reactions to what the intention of the artist was or what it means to them personally. And you ask somebody else and they have a completely different idea. And that's how it should be, because you want yourself in your magic, right? You don't want somebody else in your magic, otherwise you're just a carbon copy.
Yep.
So there's nothing satisfying about that creatively. So yeah, I hope that answers it. I don't know if I fully answered it, but
yeah, no, like I was like that for the longest time, like bad, like
we all were. I mean, imitation is how we all learn to start, right? That's fine.
Well,
but
two of my favorite magicians, like that really started my career, are both foreigners. You have Shutagawa and you have David Stone.
I love
I'm
David.
talking like, not only did I use their patter, but like I would start to like speak in their cadences. Not do their accents necessarily, but I would speak in their cadences. Like if I was going to do this, I would say, you know what I mean? Like, can you do this for me? Like Shutagawa would, you know, or like, so it goes right to the bottle, like David Stone would, you know, and it's like, when you're reading a book, you don't get that. You, like I said, you're kind of forced to make up your own version in your head, because you're just reading like, okay, so I take these 4 cards and I hold a pinky break here, and then I steal the card out from the side here, and then I put it on top, and then I do this. And you're just kind of reading through the steps, and then like you learn the trick, and then you have to like make it your own story for it.
Yeah. Yep.
For someone like me, though, that's like super hard. Like
it's not easy for me either.
I can't learn from those old books, you know. And I've authored a few books myself that teach magic, and I told myself I'm gonna write these books as if like I was the person that was buying the books, like, because it's, you know, I did it in such a way where it's very visual and step by step, and they can kind of, you know, in their mind while they're reading along, they can kind of, you know, figure out how to do it without having to look at those like weird hand like figure drawings, and it's like, how do I you want me to hold the coin like this? What?
Like what is this? The SWE shift from Erdnase? Like what? How is that supposed to work? Come on, you know.
So to wrap up that little segment, besides Tarbell, can you toss out a couple of your favorite resources for learning magic, either from books, or if you know of any good video series too that people can kind of look to, so that they can kind of expand their resource library, I guess?
Yeah. So the first thing I would tell you is that if you can learn from the books, and you're comfortable with learning from books, and you're also comfortable not spending any money, the public domain has a lot of magic. Project Gutenberg, archive.org, lots of other places like that. You can find really, really, really good magic books that have very workable material in them for free. And it's not like some kind of like, it feels like, oh, you can't do that. Yes, you can. All right? It's public domain. That's what that means. You already are entitled to that resource as a person of society. So go tap that resource. It's free. Yep. Go do that, right? Why? Like, I don't know why everybody doesn't just run out and go, I'm gonna get all this. As far as I mean, Tarbell's great. It depends on where you are in your magic journey, or what particular flavor of magic you're wanting to learn. If you want to learn mentalism, of course, anything by Animan is great. Practical Mental Effects is wonderful. I mean, you could read that book and it'll give you your entire career in there. 13 Steps Mentalism is fabulous. That's by Tony Corinda. That's awesome. If you're more like trying to get into magic and you're trying to learn some not so hard stuff, but then maybe some challenging stuff later on, and get a full picture of every type of performing style, Encyclopedia of Magic by Mark Wilson is a fabulous resource. It's kind of like a condensed version of Tarbell. That's a lot easier and a lot more accessible to read, and a lot more modern.
I used to have the pocket version, which was like
yeah, man.
It's like
I used
that
to give
big,
them
but it was
away.
like that thick.
I used to get them at half price books. We have a half price books here in Texas, and I would just buy them up because it'd be like $3-4, and I would just give them to people. Like, you know,
Yep.
if I had somebody who was really into magic, like, hey, I have something for you. Just keep it in my trunk, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's it's like, hey, wait a second, I'm gonna go to get my trunk and get you something. Wait, no, what? Like, no way, man. You know, you gotta be careful who you do that with, but.
These days, I don't know. I don't know how like, hey, don't go anywhere. I got something for you real quick. Let me reach into my bag of tricks.
It puts the lotion in the basket. Like, you know. But yeah, as far as video resources, you know, honestly, the old L&L stuff is still awesome.
The world's greatest magic series.
They're cheap and they're wonderful. Go to llepub.com and you can get PDF magic books. You can get video downloads. You can get all this stuff for any magician you've ever heard of, or a lot of magicians that maybe you haven't heard of but are amazing. And I mean, they got Tommy Wonder, they've got Bill Malone, all the people. LLEpub is a fabulous resource to get inexpensive video and PDF magic materials if you've got the budget to spend some money. That's where I would tell you to go.
Very cool. Awesome. So you guys know where to go now. No excuses. You don't have to go buy all of the bells and whistles and all the crazy shenanigans. You don't have to drop $800 on like a new Apple Watch trick or whatever. You probably already have access to a lot of really cool material that you can add to your act and kind of spice up, you know, using your own like performance style. Last question though, before I let you go, and this is probably the most important question out of all the questions that I've asked you so far. You ready?
I don't know, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Who shot first?
Han Solo. Sorry. He did.
That's it. That's the end of it.
That's
right?
they did that,
first.
yeah. Han shot first.
None of this.
No, that's garbage. George Lucas is a noodler, okay? He decided later that he wanted to make Han Solo a more likable character, and so he went back and edited it so that, you know, there's a very big distinction about who shot first, and then, it's in self-defense. He was just trying not to get shot by Greedo.
I think
garbage.
They edited it again for the re-release. Like,
of course they have.
Came out.
Of course
they made it for like Han. Like I think they changed it so like I'm trying to remember exactly. Like Greedo shot very clearly, and then like Han shot him. So like it wasn't like they shot at the same time.
So there's like 3 versions now. There's the Han shot first. There's the one where they shoot at the exact same time, and now there's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, and
it's because Disney. It's because Disney. Yeah.
Anyway, Alan, thank you so much for being on the channel. This is a lot of fun. For all of you guys watching, please go check out his stuff. Aside from your channel, is there anything else that my viewers would benefit from that you have put out, or anything else that you would like to plug here?
Yeah, well, I would invite you to my Discord. It's just a place to hang out and talk about magic or other nerd stuff. So I would love to have you there, and we can just chat and workshop and hang out.
I will put links too. I'll have Alan send me a big old list of links, and I'll make sure to drop them right here at the bottom of this video so you guys can go check out all of his stuff. Anyway, long video. For those of you who are still here and watching, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Don't forget, if you have not already, to subscribe to this channel here, the O'Brien Magic channel. And just a heads up, if you also weren't aware, I just recently launched my new membership program. So if you guys click that join button, for only $1 a month, you guys will get access to exclusive members only content, including video tutorials and early access videos. You guys will get a shout out right here on my channel, emojis and badges and all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you do that. Anyway, this is Michael O'Brien.
And Alan Paoletti.
Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll catch you all next time. Take care.